Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to this kind of. It's not really an analysis, but it's more of a theoretical video. Since we're gonna be discussing, ICC Fischer, and there were rumors. So let's go really into like a little bit of background, because of this very interesting game. It surrounds Bobby Fischer, but the problem was that this time he never played public games. He only played like 30 public games, but most of them were against Boris Spassky, and that was when he was like very very old. So at this time, he was really just hidden. He was anonymous. He always hid it from the public, and rumor has it that he was playing players on ICC as a guest, and basically played like lots of blitz chess against them, and he won them. He destroyed everybody they played on ICC, and it was very interesting. Keep in mind that this was a rumor, and it was until Nigel Short came that everybody was like, "Really? Is this really Bobby Fischer?" And that's what we're going to be covering today. So yeah, this was legitimately Nigel Short going against Bobby Fischer, and I'm gonna tell you why I think at the end of the video. But first, let's look at how this Fischer destroys Nigel Short. So yeah, let's get into it. Keep in mind, we don't know if this is actually Bobby Fischer. He played online in ICC, and many people thought that it was Bobby Fischer because they could tell. They really, really thought that they were going against the legendary Bobby Fischer. So let's actually look at this for a second, and let's just try and theorize a bit if this really is Bobby. Okay, so Bobby with the white pieces opens with f4. So in this time again, Fischer, he didn't like theory. He was just going all crazy. So let's see how he does it. So we have d5, king f2, and he plays a bomb cloud. But this was like a very extreme type of bomb cloud. We get knight c6, king f3, and then e5. And again, this really just feels it's hypothetical. We don't really know if this is Fischer. Again, this is all rumors, but I'm just gonna say that whoever this person is, he managed to beat Nigel Short, who was arguably one of the best blitz players, 8-0. They played a match over 8 games, and Fischer won all of them. Again, I don't know if this guy is Fischer, but this guy beat Nigel like 8-0. And if nothing can explain this, I don't know what will. So we have c3, and then knight f6. Now, typically here you want to take advantage of this king, maybe pushing the pawn to e5 with check or something. Like going e4 is doing good. I typically just think that e4 would be good, but the problem is I feel like white can just get some counterplay, and then black doesn't have much of an advantage because basically you're just going to push g3, move the king out, go here, and yeah, I don't feel like white will have that much of trouble, basically just trying to equalize. So instead, Nigel went with knight f6, and this is very typical. He wants to develop the knights, get an attack, and it's going to be very normal. We have d3, bishop e7, g3, castle, and king g2. Okay, so Fischer's just now hiding. He played weird openings, and yeah, let's see what happens. We have e4, and Fischer just blocks. And now h5. So Nigel's idea is he wants to play g6. He wants to put in the king here, and then he's gonna try and move his rooks to attack Fischer's king, because Fischer has no pieces developed. He broke all types of principles, and he's literally just going crazy against Nigel. So let's see what happens. We basically have e3, g6, h3, king g7, c4, rook g8, c5, rook h8, knight c3, bishop e6, a3, queen d7, bishop g4, and rook g8. So now we have this position. Fischer is doing perfectly fine. There's nothing really bad about this. Like legit, there's nothing. Ooh, sorry, guy. No. Okay, wait. So just fast forward throughout the game. I messed up a bit. Where are we? We're in this position. Okay, yeah. So Nigel's idea is that he wants to bring the king, up, and then obviously, these rooks are just staring at Fischer's king. So he's trying to build up an attack, and let's see what Fischer does. He plays b4. He wants to expand on the queen side, get some passers and just do some counterplay. We get king to f8. We get bishop a4, g5 takes, and now b5. We get knight d8, and Fischer has a tactic. He could just push this pawn, After c6, just take. And obviously, black has to slide back, and then just move the knight to defend this pawn. This was typically not the best idea, but I feel like Fischer might have gone for this. But he does do this tactic, but first he plays, first he actually just moves the knight to defend the pawn. We get rook h8, and now he plays b6. We get c6, he takes, and then the queen goes back. Short needs to stop this pawn, because this pawn is very dangerous, and Fischer can utilize it to it's going to be a very poisonous pawn. So short needs to go back. We have bishop b3, queen a8, rook b1. You can't protect the pawn, so obviously, short just takes it. It's not really anything special. We have rook f1, queen a8, queen e1, queen c8. And here, short has created this barrier with the bishop. He's attacking this pawn. The rooks are attacking this pawn. There's too much pressure, and Fischer decides to give up the queen. We have knight f4, rook takes g3, queen takes g3, rook takes g3, and king takes g3. So what does white have? All right, so we have let's see, what does white really have? Well, white has two rooks, and he like Fischer has this passed pawn, but again, black should be better here. Black has -3 point. Like basically, the engine just thinks that black is just completely winning. But let's see what happens. We get bishop f5, bishop d1. Very strange moves. Knight e6, knight takes h5, takes, bishop back, takes, queen here, king, knight, bishop, knight, rook. So keep in mind, Fischer at this point is playing all the best moves. Whoever this person is, he beat Nigel Short, guys. He beat Nigel Short, and he's playing all the best moves. He's playing the position the most accurately, and he's basically outplaying Short. We get queen d7. With each move, like literally, Short's advantage just starts fade away. We get king g3, bishop d8, knight e2, check, blocked, and then queen e7. So he's trying to infiltrate. There's nothing much to say about it. Bishop c3, takes. King g7, a4, and here he just blocks. So obviously, Short is just trying to get somewhere. Obviously, the bishop is protecting that square, but he's trying to infiltrate. But Fischer just doesn't let him. Look at that rook. That rook is the face of a god. You cannot surpass that rook. That rook just has too much power. And look what happens. Look how Fischer just makes it look so simple. We have f6, rook hb1, king g6. There's no way to protect this pawn, guys. It's just a free pawn, and well, Nigel loses. I don't know when he resigned. I remember watching this game in like an Agamotto video and like a chess base, but I forgot when he resigned. But Fischer just has a checkmate in like 6 moves. We get f5 with check, king g5, and now the rook slides over, rook g7 check. The king goes to king. It's king h6, rook g6 check, and now king h7. This is all forced. And finally, the last move, rook h1 check. And it's a checkmate. It's very, very simple. Either you block the knight here or here. It doesn't matter which way you go. If you go like knight h4, just rook takes h4. If you go knight h2, you just take. Yeah, there's no way to prevent mate, and that's the end to this game. This is really the only public game. There's a couple more games on YouTube being shown. But again, this is very interesting. It's more of a commentary than rather an analysis, because again, this is Bobby Fischer playing online, and that's very rare. Now, in my personal perspective, I do believe this was Fischer, and I have 3 reasons why. So in their match, Nigel Short said that he couldn't confirm this was Fischer, but he absolutely knew this was Fischer. And the reason why is they asked this fake Fischer. He asked him, "Hey, have you ever played Armando in Armando? Have you ever played a Mexican player called Armando?" And Fischer said yes. He played Armando in 1970. So, yeah. And that's very accurate. Considering the timeline and the way that the events took place, it does make sense that this could be Bobby Fischer. Because if he played Armando, who was a Mexican player in 1970, which is actually accurate because he did in real life, then again, that is one refutable evidence to show that this is Fischer. The second claim is that the engines weren't good back then. Like, many people think that this was an engine user. This wasn't Fischer. Hikaru doesn't believe it's Fischer. Levy doesn't believe it's Fischer. Some people just think it's just a fraud. You know, it's just a legend, the famous story. It wasn't really true. I don't believe in this, and the reason why is because engines weren't good back then. Fischer can beat lots of engines. Kasparov could beat lots of engines. They weren't as powerful as they are today. And really, the only engines that were good was just Deep Blue. But Deep Blue wasn't that strong. It could barely beat Kasparov, and it was just a very, it was a very bad era for the computers. Like, the computer was just getting annihilated. So without question, this just brings me to the conclusion that this can't be an engine user, because obviously, you know, Nigel Short could just beat the engine user very easily. So, and besides, this is Nigel Short, one of the best Blitz players of all time. And Nigel did claim that this player is technically better than Kasparov. And the reason why is that, again, he believes that this is Bobby Fischer. And that this player that he's playing could be better than Kasparov. And he's not wrong, because this player is just really, he destroyed him. And Nigel was I think he was like in like the top 10 or something. He was one of the best Blitz players in that time. And I don't know what to say about it, but Nigel was just incredibly dominated throughout this game. Another claim is that Fischer went crazy in this time. He didn't love Theory. He hated how it ruined the game. And he also, I think, was in Japan. He could have played in Japan. And again, like, at that time, like, he wasn't really playing that much chess actively. So this could have been a good time, you know, for him to pass the time, get some practice, and, you know, just play something and just have some fun for his life. And, yeah, like, he literally just played weird openings against all his opponents, and he literally just destroyed them. This man literally played a bomb cloud on move 2. And this was better. Fischer could probably be the true inventor of the bomb cloud, because look at this. What the hell is this, man? It's very hard to believe that this was Fischer, but at the same time, it does make sense. He hated Fury. Engines sucked. Fischer was better than the engines back then. This player annihilated Short, and yeah, just look at how he made it so easy. It was a very simplified game, and it just turned into this amazing story, which is a legend now. Of course, many people can't really prove it was Fischer, but the evidence is there. And while it is hard to just disclaim the fact that this wasn't Fischer, many people do believe it was Fischer. This was an article on ChessBase where it showed all the games played by the guest Fischer. And again, I do believe it was Fischer, and I want to know what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah. Do you guys believe this is Fischer? If yes, tell me in the comments below, and bye.